In the injury front, Tim?
Yeah, we had a couple of lads back in training this week, so we hopefully to have maybe 2 or 3 back available for Friday.
What's your assessment so far, like with 2 matches? How would you look at it overall?
I think, listen, on the grand scheme of things, I think a point up in Donegal isn't the worst result, especially the condition the pitch was in. It cut up quite a lot. It was difficult to play on, and having given them a goal, we were sloppy for the first goal, and it sort of encouraged them, should we say, to sit back a bit more and hold on to that lead, and they did so for a long period. But listen, I think after 2 games with 4 points, I don't think it's the worst start.
Yeah, overall you defended well, like it's not just for that one kind of individual error.
Yeah, I don't think we gave up too many chances again when you're chasing the game. I think they had a few counter attacks, but they looked dangerous, and successes powerful, quick but lads, so you're going to get that on the counter attack. But I thought in overall the 90 minutes, I thought we defended well, and we were pushing for an equaliser and then for a winner as well, for large parts of the game.
Yeah, Jack Doherty obviously has proven a very good signing. He's got all your goals so far, and he scored again.
Yeah, again, it's listen, Jack's got a lot of ability and a lot of experience now as well, and I think if we keep creating chances for Jack and the lads in the top end of the pitch, goals won't be a problem.
Yeah, UCD Friday night, will that give you a good gauge, like of, you know, they're obviously one of the teams that punters would think would be up there. Will give a good gauge, kind of.
It's hard to assess UCD so far. They had a great win against Bray, but they're down to 10 men, so they would have approached 60-70 minutes of that game probably differently to how they'll play with 11 players. And then last week against Treaty, they lose 1-0, but they were in the Collingwood Cup, so I think that was the 4th game that week for a lot of their players. So it's very hard to sort of gauge where they're at after 2 games. Very fit group, a lot of talented young players. They've got Finner obviously in there with a lot of experience as well, and again, as you said, I think that they'll be up there at the end of the season, so it's another good game for us to go into now on Friday, and it's one that we're looking forward to.
Yeah, what's the most important thing? I suppose to get a positive result against the Moors.
Yes, listen, we have to go and win the game. I think if we can win Friday, it's a really good start to the season. 7 from 9, especially with the away trip to Donegal, out of the way as well. So that's the objective now, is to go into Friday night and hopefully have a big crowd again and get them behind the lads. And if we can get a win there, I think we're up and running.
We're looking Friday.
Thanks.
You mentioned the crowd, Tim. I mean, 5,500 people there for the opening game of the season. A first division game against Kerry, that's unbelievable, isn't it? It's brilliant,
yeah, it's unbelievable. And in fairness, Kerry brought a lot of fans as well, so we're hoping that we'll get a big crowd again on Friday. And hopefully as well, it's been in 2 weeks. I know there was a game there last week, Cove, and it's obviously not helping us, the fact that we've extra games on the pitch. We'd love to have it as fresh as we can be, but whether the way it's been and with the amount of traffic that's been on the pitch, we're hoping that'll be in good nick for Friday, and will encourage us to get the players on the ball in the right areas that want to travel with it.
Is that a concern? Because you mentioned the pitch up in Finn Harps was not up to scratch really, and I mean apparently the pitch cut up a lot in the Cove game last week as well, and there's been a lot of rain and so on, so is that a concern for you?
It is, yeah, it is. Listen, obviously the ground staff are going to be doing the best they can, and I think if you look at our place on the open day of the season at the start of the game, it's magnificent. It's in a great condition as it could be, but just the way the weather's been, it's been so wet and miserable that the pitches are cutting up. I think the same with Ballybuffet. I think the ground staff did an unbelievable job to get the game to go ahead in the first place, but that just means that when it cuts up and you're seeing lads that are obviously, listen, they're good footballers and it's bobbling up and they're kicking it off the pitch with nobody near them, like it can be frustrating, and it obviously makes it for a less of an attractive game, should we say, and especially the way UCD play as well. They pass the ball out constantly, and they've got a lot of talented players as well, so I think if the pitch is really good on Friday night, I think it'll be a magnificent game.
You've got some guys to come back in still, and you've made changes in the team over the last couple of weeks. I mean, compared to the Kerry game, you changed the team up for Finn Harps again, and you left out some of the young fellas like Cathal O'Sullivan and so on. Are you still trying to find your best 11, or is it just utilise your squad?
There's different games for different players and different venues and different opposition and everything else, so there's no best 11. There'll be the best 11 for that game. And last week I think we changed formation and personnel, and before we could really get into the game we were 1-0 down, and it just encouraged Finn Harps. I said they sat in really deep for a lot of the first half, and our spare player was at the back end of the pitch then, we didn't really need it, so we changed it at half time and got Cahill on, and Cahill had a major impact again on the game. So yeah, again, it's different game against different opposition. So I said previously we'll utilise the whole squad, and I don't think there'll be any player that will play every minute of every game this season.
And there's still quite a few guys to come back from injury as well, which I mean will be a bonus to the team. Greg Bolger and so on and so forth.
Yeah, well, Greg's going to be very close for Friday.
Yeah.
Hopefully be involved Friday. You've got Darragh Crowley, who's not a million miles off. He was in full contact today, back from his cruciate injury. You've got Keane Barger, he's very close as well. Murph trained today, and Malik's a little further out with his hamstring, and Matty Kiernan trained today as well. So we're hoping now in probably a couple of weeks' time we'll have a full strength squad bar Malik. He's a little bit longer. He's 4 weeks into his hamstring injury, so it'll be a few more weeks after that. But and when that happens, we're going to have a very, very competitive squad. And
like you mentioned, 5 or 6 guys there who would all be not definite starters, but very close to being starters regularly. So I mean, to have picked up the 4 points, you must be happy enough without all those players.
Yeah, we're happy as well, and I spoke at large in pre-season about the quality of the young lads, and I think you've seen that in the first few games with the performances from the young lads. So again, when we have the more experienced ones, should we say, like Greg in and about the group, and to help the likes of Jaden and Cahill and Matty's, the 2 Matty's, Josh and Healers and a few other lads there, that like it benefits them and it brings them on even more.
Great, thanks Tim.
You mentioned the Kerry crowd. I wanted to ask about John O'Donovan. He obviously got an invite to a birthday party afterwards and went to the Handlin. Just kind of what does that say, I suppose, about him, obviously, for going? And
yeah, again, like John's a lovely fella, and you can see that it's obviously a really nice gesture from John as well. So, but it just says exactly what he's like. I'm not sure he should be encouraging lads to go to 10-year-old birthday parties, but I know there's sort of protocols to go through that. But again, it when it goes through, the player gets an invitation like that, and it goes through the club. It's good because it shows the type of character John is, and if you can help a little bit in someone's party, it's very good.
It's kind of half maybe worried that you get a lot more now after the game. You might get one yourself.
Yeah, I'm not too sure we're allowed going them, so that's the way we can say that. But yeah, and again, and listen, a lot of the stuff will come through the club, where people will contact the club to again, every week now we're out and about in the community doing stuff. Players will go to certain events and whatnot, and I think it's a part that I'd always encourage for the club to be close to the community and do as much in the community as possible, because as you see in the night one, 5,500 fans at the ground, and it's their club. We're just custodians in the managerial position here, and the players as well. They'll move on, the staff will move on, but the fans will always be at the club. So it's their club to get back into the community is a major part of it.
We're one of the leagues with summer soccer, so you could call this summer weather that we're having. But I think your young team, with the drive over to the grounds, will obviously be a huge help.
I just think, I think that that's going to coincide with obviously 2 or 3 months of experience in the first team and development and understanding of the game and getting to know how we want to do things and improving themselves. So I think with the pitches improving then as well, you have the likes of Jaden and Cahill, and speaking with them in particular because they're ball carriers and they like to take players on. So when the surfaces are better and firmer and flatter, what should I say, I think it'll suit them. But listen, it'll suit every team in the league. And I think, again, I know we're talking about summer season. I think it is a massive benefit to Ireland to have that for the players that are playing, or the clubs that are playing in Europe. It gives them a massive advantage, and I think we do get very little games called off because of the weather, but that's going to happen in February and October time. So it's just navigating ourselves through the next couple of months, and then when the pitches get better for everyone, it's a better product for the whole league.
For your own young players, Friday night will be a good test against a young team as well, because we see the invariably have young teams that lost people like Jack Keeney to Drogheda and some of the more established players.
Yeah, again, and that's the model that UCD have had for forever now. So it's a brilliant model. It's incorporating education with your football, and I think that's a massive part of a young player's development. I think if you see the amount of players that have come through UCD, they've had successful careers in the League of Ireland, but also in the UK as well. And I think it gives them a good grounding. to go into the further end of their football career, should I say. But again, they're always very young, very fit, and mostly they play really good football as well, and Willie's no different. So it'll be a good test for all of our players, and again, our young lads will be no doubt up for if they get on the pitch.